Welcome back, everybody. We're back again, back in your life. 2023 season, that chapter is officially closed. We are moving on to the 2024 season. So in this video, we want to recap a few of our rule changes. There's not as many as going into last season. There's only a couple this time.
Yeah, it should be a fairly short video, but brief and to the point.
Jared's going to talk about the schedule a bit, and we're going to recap the whirlwind offseason that we had. A bunch of roster changes, new landscape of the league, so we're going to get into that, but we're going to start with the schedule and the rule changes first.
Yeah, so for starters, this will be the longest season TWL has had to date, season 5. We're super excited about it, but it's going to go on for a while. Last season, we had 6 teams. We played 24 games. For starters, the 4-game series are no longer. They were just unreliable with lights, weather, and having to reschedule and incomplete games. Hopefully we don't have that problems anymore, so it'll just be 3s from now on. We once again have 6 teams, still AL, NL, still 3 on each side, but we'll get into the teams in a little bit. In your division, you are going to play 9 games, so 3 series against each of the teams in your division, so there's 18 games there. Then you'll play the 3 teams in the other division, a total of 6 games and 2 series each. So that amounts to a total of 36 games for the regular season this season, over 12 days of 12 series. So much longer, as we played 24 and 7 last year. Now we're going to 36 and 12. You're going to see a lot more wiffle this season. We're going to be playing a lot more. It's going to be real exciting about that. To keep the home and away equal, we let the AL and NL champions, as in the Chicks with Sticks and the Wildebeest last year, pick who their extra home, whether they were home against which team in their division more, because the outside your division, it's 1-1 series. We let, like Tyler chose, and then Chris and Jesse chose who they wanted to be an extra home against. So for example, in your division, Tyler will be home against one team in his division twice, and then away against the other team twice. That way it just evens out. And then assuming going forward, I would assume if we keep the same format next season, we'll just alternate the exact way it was. Other than that, that's pretty much how the schedule looks. Just going to be a lot longer, a lot more games.
Yeah, we really wanted to do that just because in the past we've done winter and summer seasons in one season. Going forward, we just want to do one season per year, but we're just making the season longer. So the season will last, I don't know, it was like 6 months.
6-7 months
of games, and then, we'll have our 5-6 month off season and be back next year. So just keep it more condensed, but a longer season. Into the first rule change?
Yeah.
Playoff pitching. Go ahead.
All right, so playoff pitching limitations. In the past, we had no playoff pitching limitations. Pitchers were allowed to pitch as much as they wanted. We saw that benefit for some teams in the past, maybe even hurt some other teams in the past, but it is no more. If the series goes 3 or 4 games, a pitcher is only allowed, of course this does not include extra innings, as normal, the rule has not changed. If it goes 3 or 4 game series, pitcher is only allowed to throw 18 outs. If we go 5 or 6, they are allowed to throw 27 outs. If we go a 7-game series, they are allowed to throw 36 outs. So essentially, you have to use at least 2 pitchers, and they will be used intermittently. This will come into some pretty big strategy plays, I would think, because you're not going to know how many games it's going to go as we go. I mean, if we go into the ALCS or NLCS where it's a 5-game set, we're going to walk in knowing, okay, a pitcher can for sure throw 2 games, potentially a 3rd game if we go that way. But I mean, do we start our top pitchers 1-2, or we know it's going to go at least 3 games? Maybe we start our second pitcher game 1 and see how it goes, sort of thing. I feel like it's going to be a lot of strategy.
It adds some variety and some variability into our playoff. Some teams last playoff decided to pitch multiple guys. Other teams just stuck with their one arm. But I think this, like you said, the main thing is entering some strategy. Do you want to kind of pair your maybe 2 or 3 arm up against their ace? That way you can have your team's ace go against their 2 or 3 arm. Do you want to go ace versus ace? There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and I think coaching will become more important come playoff time. So I'm excited about that rule. Last rule we changed this offseason, it had to be done. The bunt line is being extended. Last season we had like a 3-foot arc. If the ball landed before that, it didn't count.
Had to cross it.
Had to cross it. We extended that to 8 feet, so it's over double. The bunt line last season was really just non-existent. I think it may have only came into effect like one time, if that. I don't know if it really ever came into play at all. and everybody agreed. For the record, by the way, all these rules, we've talked about this before, these weren't just decided by me and Jared. We do have a committee of players in the league who voted on these rules, so a majority of the captains and players who've been around this league for a long time did approve all these rules. It's not like just me and him like sitting back. Like,
yeah, the current
trying to
committee
change everything.
Includes 11 people, and we have to have at least 6 people to approve any changes.
Yeah.
Which the schedule, all these were approved by at least 6 people.
So yeah, bunt line extended to 8 feet. Hopefully that'll kind of mitigate some of the bunting. I don't know. I mean,
Encourage people to swing, hit some more.
yeah, we want, but do what you want. We didn't want to completely take away bunting because we want people to have the freedom to do whatever they want. I don't know if you have anything else to add. That's all I have to say.
Not really. I mean, I think it kind of encourages. I think it makes it a lot easier on the pitcher to field, as we don't have a catcher to be able to make a play on a bunt with this now, because if it doesn't make it 8 feet, there's not a play. Also, the big thing that it brings into play, I don't think anybody's really discussed, is if the pitcher can get to the ball before it hits 8 feet, it can be deemed foul if they pick it up.
Yeah, that's something we hadn't talked about.
That's something we hadn't talked about, but if the pitcher can get to it before it crosses that line, it is foul.
Yeah. So adds it in. I mean, the bunting got, I don't know. It was a bit much last season, I think. So I think, obviously, a majority of people wanted to vote to change it in some way, and we've done that. So that really does it for our rule changes heading into the season. The ones we made for last season were great and effective. We didn't have to change that much. Let's get into the off season. It was crazy. I mean, just to start, I think that there was a point where we thought we may only have 4 or 5 teams coming into the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was scary for a point. I mean, I was making mock schedules looking at 8. I thought we had the people for 8. Then it got scary there towards the end, where we might have even had 4 or 5. It was getting a little scary there, but we have come out with 6, and that's where we should be going forward.
Yeah.
That's the way the schedule's been made.
So 6 teams, just like last season. However, the main point of the offseason was that the soft serve are no more. They have disbanded, they have dissolved. I guess they agreed as a team, whether it was kind of commitment things, attendance issues. People didn't see themselves being fully committed to this season. They decided to disband. So all those players on those teams entered the free agent pool. Soft serve are gone. That puts some marquee free agents in the pool, like Lugo, Lucas, and Tyler Wendell, all into the free agent pool for other teams to kind of bid for them. With that being said, we are still staying at 6 teams, obviously, like we've talked about. So a team is going to be taking the soft serve spot. Jared will talk about that team.
Yeah, so the new 6 team, which was going to be a team before they disbanded, like I said, which is what I thought could have gotten us to 8, but didn't happen. So taking their spot in the NL will be the new team, the Baseline Bangers. Their captain will be Potter, who previously played on the Pilots last season. And he has brought in some of his friends. Right now, I believe they have 4 on the roster, so I believe they have a couple extra spots, but we'll see if they fill them throughout the season. But right now, I'm going to put on the screen here with their roster, and but none of them have played previously, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, we got Potter and them, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, so that covers Baseline Bangers. We're happy to see what they can do. New team. Potter's super enthusiastic and wants to go out there and have a good time. I think he'll be a good team captain. We'll see how competitive they are. It's really just a big question mark because out of those guys who are currently on their team, the only one who's played prior to the season was Potter. So I guess it's, exciting intrigue going into the season. We'll see what they can do. So that does it for their team. Now I think we're going to go team by team with the remaining other 5 teams and talk about their roster moves. I'll start with my own team, Chicks with Sticks. We're sticking with our main 6 core from last season that we've had for the past few seasons. However, we did make a move and we have added Lucas Catlett from the soft serve, their team captain. My team, we're super excited to have him. I mean, when he reached out to me and was interested in joining us, I talked to my team. They all thought he'd be a super great fit. He fits in well. We like to have fun while we're playing, but we also like to play hard and just have a good time, and I think Lucas does the same. I'm excited to add some pitching depth to our team. We have another arm. Lucas, honestly, when he did pitch last season, looked really good. His hitting also was really good. He had a lot of homers and a lot of RBIs, some great hits from when he did show up. Just because of outside commitment issues, he wasn't able to be there all the time. But we got him on our team. We're stacked at 7. We're ready to go. We're ready to make a run at the championship again, adding some depth.
Yeah, also a reminder that in Season 2, Lucas did win Cy Young, so Lucas can return to that form.
Cy Young Lucas will be back.
That could be a big push for them.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the Pilots next, I suppose. So I guess the biggest breaking news, some of it besides the soft serve disbanding, was that Grant Ginnelich was, I guess, teasing retirement after the Pilots playoff loss. He was kind of saying that he was done. I guess just didn't feel fully committed, was dealing with some other things, wasn't sure. So for a while he was retired. We'll leave it at that for now. In place of that, the Pilots have signed Christian Lugo Diaz from the soft serve to take Grant's spot in theory. Massive signing for them. Lugo had a huge season last season, a lot of power, a lot of pitching, great in the field. I really feel like he kind of will fill that gap for them and help them stay as competitive as they were before. With that being said, they've also signed Sarah and roster.
Who played on the juice for one series last season. So
she can clearly hit too, from what we saw. She can hit well. She can swing the bat. I think she'll be a surprisingly great signing for them. We're going to talk about some of the roster subtractions. They have cut Brooks Nip, who's been around our league for...
Yeah, I believe Brooks is semi-retired at this point.
Semi-retired. He's been around since the beginning, but retired for now. And other than that, they still got the same guys. Still going to be rolling with Muhammad, Nelson, Isaac.
And Kaiser.
Kaiser, yeah, along with the rest of the crew. And
as far as I know, I believe it's those 6 right now.
They're going to be as good as competitive as they were before. So that does it for them. Lugo, huge signing. Now let's get to the Allman Brothers. This is where it's going to get really juicy. So we mentioned that Grant had considered retirement. That's kind of what we were going with. We weren't expecting him to be playing this season. And then out of nowhere, the Allman Brothers made a push and did sign Grant. So, I mean, that's an absolutely massive signing. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, that's a huge signing for the Allman Brothers team that went 3-20 last season.
Yeah.
They've also made a captain change. It's no longer Christian and Jacob, although they are still on the team. Daniel is now their new captain, so they're running with Daniel, Jacob, Christian, Jaden, Ian, plus adding Grant, and they've also run with a new 7th name, which is Tyler Wendell. So, I mean, that's pretty scary. I think everybody's kind of scared of what they can do with Grant and Tyler Wendell on their team. I mean, that's could be a pretty lethal duo on
They really went from the bottom to potentially the top. I mean, we don't do power rankings, but I think if we were doing power rankings, they would be right there at the top. I mean, you're talking about adding 2 players who are definitely probably top 5 players in our league.
Both previous Rookie of the Year winners.
Yeah.
I mean, they're perennial all-stars.
I mean, if you guys play in the league or you watch the videos, you know how good Grant is. Multiple-time Home Run Derby winner, multiple-time Cy Young Award winner, MVP, all that. Wendell, just as good as Grant, honestly, can match the ball, pitches. And I think they joined the Allman Brothers because they kind of wanted to have some fun. It's a good, cohesive group of guys. I think the chemistry, I think they'll be having a lot of fun, but they're definitely going to win some games. I'm excited to see, I want to see the team at the bottom kind of rise to the top. It's great to see from like a running the league standpoint, but also, as a player playing in their division, it's a lot more competitiveness, and it's going to be a bigger challenge for my team to win the AL for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to be really good.
I feel like the AL at this point is wide open. I mean, maybe in the past, some people wrote off the Allman Brothers, where we knew it was going to be Pilots and Chicks playing in the ALCS. We knew pretty early on last season the Allman Brothers did not have a great season. But I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't think anybody can predict who's going to be that team not making the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. You haven't even talked about the NL teams yet, but I really think we're in a position where, again, I don't know with the baseline bangers because I haven't seen them play. But the other 5 teams, I really feel like on paper are dead even. I don't think that there's like a stacked team or a talent discrepancy. I think that this season's up for grabs, and that's great. With that being said, Jared's going to discuss the other 2 NL teams.
Yeah, so going to my team, of course, the baseline bangers are still in there. We'll start with my team, the Juice. We are sticking with the same 7 that we played in our last series, the regular season last season, prior to missing the playoffs. When we played against the Wildebeest, those same 7 guys, that's what we're sticking with for now. I think we finally put a team together. We were the only time with adding Matt and Aaron. I think they've only faced the guys who went on to become champions. So I think it's only way up from us as we build more chemistry and get working more.
They have been practicing. I attended one of the practices. They're looking good. I think, with making no additions and with their season ending, how their season ended last season, I think they may be counted out, but I really think that's a big mistake. I know the players in the league know that their team's going to be good. I think Aaron, I've said before, has a chance to be dark horse, potentially MVP, Silver Slugger candidate or winner from what I've seen. Juice are going to be good.
Yeah, and then going to the Wildebeest, the defending champions. I've talked to both Chris and Jesse. They plan to run it back with the same 6 guys. That 7th spot on the roster, I mean, they had Connor come out for that one series. I don't know if he's going to make it out anymore. I don't know if they filled that. I don't believe they filled that 7th spot officially. I think it's more of a rotating basis as to who their friends can make it. But
Yeah,
they're running it back with the same 6 as far as I know.
If you win the championship, if it's broke, don't fix it. You know, that's kind of the mantra they're living by. I know they were making a push for Ian for a little bit, a strong push, but I think with the Allman brothers adding and sticking together, that didn't end up happening. Obviously, if we were doing power rankings, you'd have to put the Wildebeests at number 1. I mean, they won, didn't change anything. They're still going to be the front runners going into this season, but I mean, they're going to have some competition for sure. I think everybody's coming for that. So that about does it for the roster changes. As you can tell, like, it was a bit crazy. We wanted to expand. Like Jared said, it didn't end up happening. But the league basically just wish-washed around. The soft serve disbanded, split amongst different teams. We had a few other roster changes. And I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I think we're super balanced. This season's going to be great. It's going to be competitive. Outlook with that, our opening day in our time is 11 days away, 10, 11 days
Something
away.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, we're playing within the next 2 weeks. We're going to have our opening day series, which I guess we can announce now. Why not?
Yeah.
It's going to be the Baseline Bangers, new team captained by Potter, against the returning champion Wildebeests. So that should be exciting. You're going to see what that team can do. If the Wildebeests can keep going on, then we're just going to be full train ahead from there.
Yeah, and I mean, that should be our next video, I believe. I don't think we have anything else on the schedule for in between.
Yeah.
But you probably see that, early next month, I would say.
Right now it's slated for early March. You'll see that opening day video. So, I mean, I guess with that being said, we covered everything. Try to keep it somewhat short, as usual.
Yeah.
We're excited. Hope you guys are excited as well. And, we'll see you for opening day. And hopefully we're in for a good season.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sticking with us. We'll see you opening day.
See you soon.